Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to video number 11, part 1 for the Canon EOS 5D Mark II, and we are now on to the custom function settings menu. There doesn't look to be a whole lot in here, but as you go deeper into the menus there is more stuff in there, so there'll be a few parts to video 11 to get all this covered. So the first one, our first thing to note, this is the orange menu with 4 dots, okay, and CFN custom function, that's short for 1, okay. Why they have to put in Roman numerals, I do not know, but there it is. So, exposure. Now, we're quite far along in the options on this, so I'll get back to the beginning. So it tells you which level that you're at on this menu. Exposure level increments. We can change this from 1/3 stop to half stop. The camera natively does full stops anyway. So we can have the camera change exposure in half stops. So if I set half stops now, and we bring up the quick menu, okay, if you look at some odd figures coming up there, 350, 750th of a second, 3000th, they're odd, don't normally see those, but that's because it's working in half stops, okay, and it'll be the same for the aperture. You'll see 6.7, so that's why on some pictures when you have a look and the f-stop says 9.5 and you're like, well, it's because it's working in half stops. Okay, so we'll go back, exposure, change that to 3rd stops. I prefer 3rd stops for more fine tuning, especially when working with flash on the aperture, okay, and the ISO. Okay, fine tuning is there as well for the shutter speed, but that's just what I prefer working with, so I'll leave mine on 1/3 stops. I don't know what they're set to from factory. I think it's half. I don't know why. Okay, so we'll go to menu 2 within here, and ISO speed settings. Now the ISO can be set separately. You can have it do full stop, so ISO 100, 200, 400, okay, 800, 1600, or you can do 1/3 stop, so 100 to 125, 160, and so forth, okay, going through the ranges there. So I have mine set for 3rd stops, so when I go ISO here, okay, I've got the 3rd stop options that we can see there. Okay, if we change that to full stops, we go back, okay, we have just the full stops on there, okay, so we'll leave that on the 3rd stops. Wrong button, there we go. Okay, ISO speed increments, 1/3 stops. Okay, ISO expansion is on. Now this, when it's off, we'll notice when we go back to this menu here, go into the ISO, we have auto, that's auto ISO. It's never really used auto ISO on my DSLR, I do on my Fuji. Okay, we have 100, 125, the 3rd stops, all the way up to the native highest, which is 6400 or 6400. Now if you go back into here and turn ISO expansion on, we get H1 and H2. Now these are cheated ISO values, so H1 is 12,800, H2 is 25,600, aka noisy as hell, but they're there if you need them. It depends what kind of work that you do. If you're out there doing photojournalism in very little light in a war zone, you can't go setting up flashes, you can't carry that crap with you, so you're shooting high ISO and what you get is what you get. So that's why they're there. Okay, so we'll go custom function menu 4, or custom function menu 1 number 4. Okay, bracketing auto cancel is on. So whenever you do a auto exposure bracketing or use an auto exposure bracketing feature, once you've done your shot, it cancels off, turns that feature off straight away, resets to normal. You can have that on or off. So we'll go to number 5, exposure bracketing sequence. You can either have this as zeroed out, then a minus exposure, then a plus, okay, +1 or -1 zeroed out and plus, so you can change the order in which it does the bracketed shots. Don't suppose it really matters, but each to their own. Number 6, exposure safety shift. Enable in AV and TV mode, so it keeps an eye out for things like whether you're using flash, will it go above the sync speed, is it going to drop too low and give camera shake. So it kind of babysits what you're doing basically. I leave that disabled. It's because I rarely shoot aperture priority with the DSLR, so it's of no use to me. So menu number 7, flash sync speed. Okay, auto, the camera will automatically monitor the sync speed and get you to within the sync speed. If it's set to high speed sync with a flash on that's capable, it will push past it. Okay, you can set it to within 200th of a second, which is the camera's sync speed, although off-brand triggers 160th is your safe bet. Okay, or you can have it to 200th of a second fixed, that's it, locked on. Okay, I've always left mine on auto because I'm using manual flash, manual triggers, so it's a non-issue, so I'll leave it there. Okay, notice that's to do with the sync speed when you are in aperture priority mode. Okay, so it's going to automatically warn you if your shot's going to be overexposed, because it's going to limit you to that sync speed. Okay, remember the camera can do 1/8000th of a second. Hit that 200th of a second limit without high speed sync, it won't let you go any further. You've got to either lower your ISO, put ND filters on, or stop down your aperture to deal with the extra light. So, and that is custom function menu number 1. So we'll have a look at the next menu in the next part of video 11. Of course, if you've got any questions, again, stick them in the comments below. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribe if you find this is helpful or will help somebody else. We'll see you in the next video.